dinner is super, super simple, and the first thing you're gonna need is some chicken breast. You can do this with thighs, you can do this with chicken tenders, whatever you wanna do, but you're just gonna throw chicken into your crock pot with some barbecue sauce. That's it. So my chicken are in, and as you can tell, they're still frozen together from the package. It is fine to put them in frozen, and then just take your favorite barbecue sauce of any kind, and just make sure that you cover the chicken breast completely. I would use one of the entire small bottles of barbecue sauce, but I had this giant one on hand, so I'm gonna use about half of this giant one. And then just pop your lid on, turn it on either low for like 4 to 5 hours or high for 2 to 3 hours, depending on your crock pot. I'm gonna stir mine in about an hour just to get the frozen chicken down a little bit, but that's it. When there's about an hour left until it's completely done, but the chicken is, you know, cooked through, take it out and put it in a stand mixer to shred it. And then just turn your mixer on a low speed and let it do the shredding for you. Put the chicken back in, get all of it out of there, and let this cook for at least another 30 minutes, so that way all the barbecue sauce really gets into that chicken. Now, to turn the barbecue chicken sliders into monsters, you're just going to need some sliced black olives, some white cheese of some kind, and some toothpicks. Now, this would be easier if you had like the slices, because it'd be thinner, so I'm gonna have to cut this really thin. And this is going to be for 2 dinners this week, so you're not gonna need many of these for tonight, so save this can. You can cut your cheese by hand, it'll be really thin, or if you have a mandolin, go ahead and do that. I have this on my cheese grater, and it's making them pretty thin enough, so I'm gonna go ahead and use these to show you how to do the teeth. What you're gonna do is you're gonna cut this in half, like this, and then you're gonna cut it into a very long triangle to look like a fang. And if they're not perfect, it's still fine. Because even the pieces that come off the side can be smaller fangs. Like that. There's 2 of the sides that still make little fangs, or the middles that make bigger fangs. Open the crock pot and give everything one good stir before you serve it. And then these are just little slider buns from Walmart. You just take some of the meat. To turn this into the monster, I've kind of flattened this just a little bit. Then you're gonna take your teeth and you're gonna just like push them in there towards the top, like that. And you're gonna close your bun, like that. Dig through your olive jar until you find 2 of the slices that look almost the same, and then take your toothpick just up into the bottom part of it. Same with the other. Just pop it up in there, like that. And then put them into your slider. And it looks like a little monster. And tonight, to go with our Halloween dinner, we're going to make these a nice little step up for dessert. And if you haven't noticed these before, check that out. Safe to eat raw. So yeah, any cookie dough eaters out there, these are safe. Just open up the package. They're already completely pre-separated. And then just put them on a parchment lined cookie sheet and bake according to package. Allow them to cool completely before moving on to the next step. Take a jar of whatever kind of icing you have laying around. Mine will be green just because I had this one left over. So I'm gonna do this. Otherwise, I would normally just use like a white icing or vanilla. And just frost the inside of your cookie. Then find where your pumpkins are so you make sure they kind of match up. Push down just a little bit so you get it on the outside. Take some Halloween sprinkles in a bowl. And just roll them in it. There you go. Really simple little Halloween treat for the kids. The ingredients for this one are very simple. You are gonna need to use ground turkey so the meatballs come out white. Ground turkey is very bland, so get plenty of seasonings that you like. Breadcrumbs, eggs, salt and pepper, and then this is the olives from the other night's recipe that I told you to save. So that's what those are. Put all of your ingredients in a bowl and mix them almost like you would a meatloaf. You just need these to really stick together and hold their shape because you do want them to be circular like an eyeball. And again, season this stuff really, really well because turkey is a bland meat. So just keep that in mind, really, really keep it in mind, and season your meat. Take your rings off and use your fingers. It is always the best thing to mix meat so that way you're not over mixing. You know when to stop. And then roll these into about 1-inch balls and give a little divot with your knuckle or your finger and then shove the olive really good in there, the slice of the olive, and it'll look like an eyeball. There's the eyeballs before they bake. They go at 425 for about 25 to 30 minutes. Just keep an eye on them. While the meatballs are in the oven, go ahead and boil some water for your pasta. You can use any pasta that you want to. I'm just using thin spaghetti tonight, but you can really use anything that you want. And then go ahead and heat a jar of sauce. Any jar again, whatever your family eats. And then to make this a little more fun this time, I'm going to add some food coloring to that water and make it a little more red. That way the noodles are red and the sauce is red so the eyeballs stick out even more. This is 25 minutes in there. So this is why I said just watch them and depending on size. But that's the eyeball part. And then I told you I dyed my pasta. So here's this. So that's already a little creepy. And then my sauce, I'm gonna show you how to assemble. Just take your plate.
Hey, Brianna,
like you normally would any spaghetti. And make your little pile like that.
This goes nice.
Take your sauce across the top. And then just wedge the 2 eyeballs on the top and you're good to go. When I make pancakes for dinner, I do not do anything special. I literally just buy the box of complete and just add water. And then just mix it until I get pretty decent, not too runny, but definitely not too thick consistency to it. Okay, these are ridiculously simple. Take a bag and a cup and go ahead and put half of your batter into the bag. It's that simple. Treat it like cake frosting, cut the tip off, you're good to go with that. For the ghost, either spoon them on or pipe them on. You are gonna need to work a little bit fast, but just go for the general shape of a ghost. It's very simple. And then take chocolate chips and put them for the mouth and for the eyes. It does help. Right here, I'm gonna do it backwards, but just do it this way. Put the chip upside down. Take the pointy end and push it into the batter. That just makes it come out a lot easier and hold its shape better when it cooks. For the spider web, you're going to have to keep the lines pretty thin, but make sure they're all connected, but do not fill in the centers because you will lose the idea of a spider web. It will have the shape on the outside, but you won't have any lines on the inside to look like a spider web. And if you're gonna have breakfast or dinner, you gotta have some bacon or some kind of protein and then add a spider ring or some kind of embellishment to your spider web. I made some Halloween themed dessert tonight. This is just the chocolate funfetti cake that's in the store right now. The can of green frosting that goes with it that I used the other day for the cookies. And then I made some homemade black icing. Like even the camera's having a hard time because it's so black. I will tag where I found this online. I've made it for 2 years now and there is a trick to it, so I will tag that below. for the actual reason I was talking about the black icing, just go ahead and melt some marshmallows in a bowl, and I'll show you what we're doing. Take your melted mini marshmallows, and this is the cake that I frosted, and I did refrigerate it, so the icing's pretty much set and not gonna come off. But for the marshmallow, I do recommend wearing gloves because this gets really messy. Take your marshmallows, get them really, really sticky and tacky in your hands, and then they will kind of web on their own.
Put powdered sugar in that.
And you can just grab them and web them on to your cake. You have to do this when the marshmallows are still really warm though, which is the reason why I say gloves, because otherwise the marshmallows will just stick to each other and pull right off of your icing. Like that. And you can do as much of it or as little of it as you want. Now obviously I still have to clean up around it, but there is the cobweb cake, and I'm going to stick a few little spider rings on it as well. Okay, so you're gonna need pizza dough of any kind. You can even get it from your bakery. I know ours does that. Any kind of pizza sauce you like. I use this for the crust, olive oil, and then just some Italian seasoning. And then your toppings, we're gonna use cheddar, mozzarella, and some pepperoni tonight. Just make sure you read your package. Ours says to grease the pans. So we're gonna do that first. Watch your face, baby girl. Come down here on her level and talk to y'all. So I'm gonna do two. The first I'm gonna do is show you how to turn this into a ghost, and then the second one I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you how to turn it into a jack-o'-lantern. And she's not leaving my side, so she's gonna help. Follow the seam from the top of the pan down. And then you're kinda gonna stretch it and pull it and poke it until the top's more rounded to look more like a circle or a ghost. And then bring it down. And you can actually kinda pinch and poke this around. To give you the appearance of the bottom of like a ghost. Very, very simple to do. Word of advice, if you've never used this stuff before, it puffs up really far. So poke this stuff down with a fork. I'm just gonna take a small bowl. I'm gonna put some olive oil in there, just a pretty decent amount, and then just any kind of Italian blend seasoning, and just mix it in there a little bit. And if you're feeling fun, a little bit of garlic powder in there as well. Brush this on your crust, and it will add a whole bunch of extra flavor, because these refrigerated doughs, they're good, they're fast, they're easy, but they're not very flavorful. So you have to add the flavor where you can. Same process before. Get your dough out and open it at the seam. But this time you're going to be kind of making it more rounded edges on all sides. Yes, see, she's gonna help. Watch out, baby girl. 1 second. 1 second, thank you, baby girl. Okay, now find one of your corners that just seems like it won't, you know, tuck in too well, and go ahead and rounded cut that thing off and piece it in at the top. Pinch and poke until you get it on there. And then that will act as your stem on your jack-o'-lantern. So it looks more like the shape of a jack-o'-lantern. Then just like before, poke all around. So you kill some of those air bubbles. Gwenny, watch your fingers, please. Watch your fingers, please, thank you. Same mixture from before, and go all over it. Making sure to really get the edges, because the inside's gonna have the pizza sauce and all the toppings. It's the crust area where you don't put a lot of sauce or anything. That's the part you really have to focus on. Both of these are ready to go in the oven. Mine says to pre-bake for 8 minutes, so just pay attention to that, and then once they're pre-baked, we'll do all the toppings. So while those pre-bake, I'm gonna go ahead and prep the ingredients. I do have to shred my cheese, but you can always buy pre-shredded and save yourself the time. But as far as the jack-o'-lantern goes, he needs eyes and he needs a mouth. You can just place the circles on there if you want to make it easy. Otherwise, just cut the pepperoni into triangles, just like that. And then you have eyes, and do a set of eyes, and then enough for the mouth. And don't worry about wasting these, because I'm gonna put pepperoni in the pizza, so I'll use the extra spare pieces. For the smiley face, again, you could just use the circles and line them up. I prefer like a jagged jack-o'-lantern mouth. To do it with the pepperoni, I simply just cut the pepperoni in half, and then cut each half in half, and then cut those into quarters. And then once the pizza's out, you just kind of line these up and top and bottom, and it makes the mouth. Okay, we're gonna start with the ghost. As you can tell, it did puff up a lot, and then this part right here does kind of lose its shape a little bit. So very, very much define your shapes before you put it in the oven to pre-bake. And then for the ghost, I really try to keep the shape with the sauce as well, because this is the part that's gonna be white with the cheese. So I will go ahead and exaggerate the shape as well using the sauce. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Once he's sauced, go ahead and take mozzarella cheese and put it on there, because this is what's gonna make your ghost white. On the ghost, you need 2 eyes and a mouth. You can do this with 3 little slices of pepperoni. You can do it with sliced tomato. You can do it with olives. You can do it with anything you want to. I'm just gonna do it very simple tonight, and I'm going to go ahead with the slices of pepperoni and just make it easy. And then this ghost would be ready to go. The jack-o'-lantern. Now, same as last time, start with your sauce and use that to exaggerate the shape. Now, you have to have mozzarella cheese when you do a pizza. It's what my kids prefer. So I'm just gonna put a thin little layer of the mozzarella, because this pizza, I want it orange. So it's gonna have mostly the cheddar cheese. Because I also want this to be pepperoni pizza, but I don't want it to show too much, I'm gonna take the pepperoni and I'm gonna put it under the cheese layer, kind of all diced up from the extras from cutting the mouth and stuff. Put that in that layer with the cheese. Take your cheddar cheese and go ahead and cover the top of this thing. To build the face, I kind of like push down on my cheese just a little so I can see exactly where to put it. And then you're gonna stick your eyes. Place your nose. Now all this will move once the cheese starts to melt in there, so just keep according to that. It might not look exactly how you want it to look, but it'll still be cool. And then go ahead and place your mouth however you're gonna do your mouth. I'm doing mine little jagged teeth, a top row and a bottom row. Just like that. And then this guy is ready for the oven as well. There is the ghost ready to go in the oven. And there is the jack-o'-lantern ready to go. And then just again, cook it according to your package. The ghost out of the oven. And the jack-o'-lantern. They look so good. And like I said, it splits and moves, so just be careful with where you place your pieces, because now I got a big old hole here and the pepperoni slipped way down here. So just plan for that. So there you have it. 4 Halloween dinners and a few treats thrown in there, including these crazy little cupcakes. And the black icing, I will tell you, will not stain your teeth. I know that I've said that, but I actually mean it. Like, it's black. But then, as soon as you take, see, it's slightly black. It's gone, okay? So you don't have to worry about that. It disappears. And it's really, really good. So I'm just telling you, check out that recipe because it is amazing and it does darken if I let it do a couple days in advance. I didn't do that and it would be even darker black than that. So just keep that in mind. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys got lots of Halloween dinner inspiration for your family. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.